are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm good. So, last week you were talking about unhealthy eating habits and the stress that you go through and what makes you want to eat unhealthy.
Yes. So, anytime that I'm feeling super stressed or even just if I'm really tired and exhausted from the day, like I find myself making poor choices in my diet and then feeling awful afterwards.
So you think that basically you're an emotional eater?
Yes. I mean, I've never really thought about it before, but I guess that is the words that you would use. You know, I mean, if I'm mad, I typically don't eat, but then if I'm sad or anxious or just feel like the world's a little out of control for me, then I do tend to make bad choices and I want to eat terribly.
So your diet really depends on your emotions and what you're feeling that day.
Yes.
Do you think that your stress makes you eat like more or just worse overall?
I would say that things that trigger like my sadness or anxiousness, it actually makes me do both. You know, if I eat terribly, it's like I'm all in. I'm gonna eat everything. And then, of course, after I'm done, I feel awful. You know, I feel bad because I ate that and I knew, you know, that was too much. I shouldn't have eaten that. You know, but I don't really know how to stop doing that. It's been a struggle for quite a while. Now, I will say the last 6 months have really been like the tipping point. I've had a career change. There's a lot of stress in my job. The job duties are completely different. It's a really mentally challenging job. Instead of being like physically demanding, it's mentally challenging. So I find myself, when I come home, if I've had a hard day, I make bad choices, and it may be that the food is not terribly healthy, or it might just be that I overeat in general.
So after your day at work is over, is the first thing you think about is like what you're gonna eat when you get home?
Yes.
And what tends to be the things that you pick to eat?
I tend to pick more indulgent types of food. Cakes, cookies, Reese cups.
So
Those are really a go-to right now. I don't know why.
So you really like sweet stuff?
Yes.
So after you eat those things, does it make you feel better or worse about your stress and what you're going through?
So when I eat, I would say that I probably I feel better at the time. But of course, after I'm finished, there's a lot of remorse and a lot of beating myself up about why did I just do that? Why did I eat this? And then there's a whole thought process. Well, I just ate that, so I might as well I've done messed up for the day. Might as well go eat something else. So it's kind of like a cycle that you go through.
So when you're eating it really doesn't bother you, but after you just feel you are hard on yourself about it?
Yes.
Okay. So, but you have gone through a lot of challenges in the past couple months, and it's normal for people to stress eat.
Well, and that's what I was telling myself too, but now it feels like I'm kind of even on the days, now it's starting to feel more like a habit instead of just like a stressful,
Have you tried to lose weight in the past?
Yes, I've struggled with weight really my whole life, so I've done multiple things. At one time, I was really heavy, and I went on Weight Watchers and lost like 120 pounds. But in the last couple of years, like especially since the pandemic first started and everybody's lives were changed so much, like I've really struggled with that, and I've gained quite a bit of that weight back. Not all of it, but I have gained quite a bit of it back.
So you've lost a lot of weight before, so I think that with the right tools that you could probably do it again.
Yeah, and that is the thing. I feel like that not having my support that I had before, because before when I lost weight, I had Weight Watchers, and there was actually like meetings, but we don't have those in our town anymore, so that's not an option right now. So I haven't found, I guess, a way to be supported in making better choices and making them consistently.
So support is really important to you when you're going through something like a big change.
Yes. And I feel like I really need that. Like, I need that support.
So have you recently tried to change some of your eating habits and it just like failed, or?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a week or two where I've done fairly well, and then something will just trigger it again. I haven't been like the healthiest in the last couple of months either. I've been dealing with some health issues and that was another reason, well, you can't do this, you can't do that, so you might as well eat.
So you've done a lot of changing and like trying to change your diet, but it just hasn't like stuck with you.
Yeah, it just hasn't stuck. I haven't been able to make it consistent.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that with the right amount of support, like you mentioned earlier, that it could become consistent?
I really honestly do. I mean, I honestly, I miss, going to the meetings and being able to talk to other people that are going through the same kind of things. Because a lot of people don't really understand when you become, emotionally, tied to food.
Mm-hmm.
And, other people have other outlets to let off stress. And I don't know. I just feel like that's just one of the ways that's always comforted me, maybe, is the word. To eat something good.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think everybody gets a little bit of satisfaction from their food, but I think in my case, maybe it's just a little excessive.
So you think that not only is your poor eating habits poor, but it's also to a point where you think it's excessive?
I'm sorry, could you say that one more time?
So you think that your eating habits are really a big deal in your life right now?
It's probably one of the the biggest things right now. Yes.
Do you think it impacts other parts of your life too?
Yes. I mean, it affects how you feel about yourself. So,
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to go as many places. You don't want to do as many things because you're heavier than you were. I find it intimidating to go back to the gym that I used to go back to because I've gained all this weight. And I really don't want everybody to see me like that saw me when I was smaller.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So overall, you think that your poor eating habits are really just because of the stress that you've gone through in the past couple months with your job change and the mental, aspects of your job really get to you, and you find eating as a coping mechanism, kind of.
Yes.
Okay. So next week we can talk about how to change some of these things, but I appreciate you coming and telling me your feelings about this situation and your eating habits.
Well, thank you for listening.